Another guest to the broadcast, Dr. Azad Kaushik, who is the president of the National Alliance of Indo-Canadians. Mr. Kaushik, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. What do you think about everything that's taking place between the two nations? One recent input that we've received is that a gangster has been killed on Canadian soil. And the perception from a security analyst is that Canada is likely to turn a blind eye to this recent development.
Well, thank you very much for asking our opinion. Uh, well, let me say it this way that as National Alliance of Indo-Canadians, we have taken a position that the matter raised by our Prime Minister is a intergovernmental matter that has to be handled between the two governments. Um, what we are concerned about is the demolition of the relations between Canada and India that we have been trying for over decades and decades. And we had Indian Prime Minister's visit on a bilateral visit after 42 years. And all those efforts that we had put in place to put Canada-India relationship on a high ground has been kind of demolished by this Khalistani extremist activity over here. And when I use this word Khalistani, and before I respond to your question, I have to put some basic information for the attention of your viewers that majority of Sikh Canadians, majority of Sikhs are against this kind of Khalistani extremism. And so that does not reflect the opinion of even the Sikh Indo-Canadian community. We are 1.4 million Indo-Canadians over there. It's only a fringe element that is politically embedded in our political system that is engaged in destroying this relationship. And we had never ever imagined that this state of relationship could come to this point. Now, coming to your specific question with regard to gangsters, the community is aware that lots of gangsters from India have moved to Canada. And I do know that there is sharing of this information between the intelligence communities of Canada and India. And so this is no surprise to us. This is no surprise to us that such kind of things would happen in Canada. The community is highly concerned about it.
Dr. Azad Kaushik, good morning, sir. This is Anand Narsimhan here. Thank you for speaking with us here at CNN News 18. My next question to you is, can anybody come and threaten Canadian citizens asking them to go out, especially if they are not Canadian people? Can someone like a Gurpatwan Panun, an American citizen, issue threats to Canadians and get away with it? Is that what the Canadian Prime Minister allows in Canada?
Well,
Mr. Kaushik, can you hear me, sir? Azad Kaushik ji, can you hear me, sir? We try and connect with Mr. Azad Kaushik and try and get him back on the phone, and we're just not able to hear the... Yeah, Azad Kaushik ji, can you hear me, sir? This is Anand here.
Yes, I do hear you.
Yeah, if you heard my question, your response, sir.
Well, the question that you raised is a very important one. The Indo-Canadian community has been concerned about public safety for a fairly long time. We have been concerned in past that people have been hurt on the road, the known Khalistani Indo-Canadians. And now, unfortunately, the statement coming from Khalistani extremists for other Indo-Canadians to leave Canada. This is a very threatening posture that has come to the community. I mean, Hindus and Sikhs, there's a lot of brotherhood in majority of those, but it is just those elements who are embedded in the political system of Canada, irrespective of political parties, and also their control of these gurudwaras where they openly celebrate terrorists and also demand Khalistan. This is an ongoing concern with the community. At this particular point now, the community is highly disturbed, not just by we don't care so much if somebody threatens from outside that you leave Canada. Canada is a mature democracy. I mean, nobody can force anybody to leave just like that. But this reflects the Khalistani extremist mindset that is determined to destroy Indo-Canadian community in Canada and destroy relations between Canada and India. Now,
No,
unfortunately, what has happened is one of our honorable ministers has raised a question about the credentials of Canadians of Indian origin. He is talking about undermining the sovereignty of Canada. We are highly concerned about this thing, and we would be taking up this matter internally with our politicians. That if we talk about better Canada-India relations, that does not mean that we are undermining sovereignty of Canada. We stand for Canada. We stand for Canada-India relationship as we have done in past. And I do recall during Prime Minister of India's visit, our Prime Minister Harper had gone out of the way to enhance this relationship to a higher level, and we did succeed in doing that. And it is
no,
all undone.
no. But Azadji, my question is very specific, sir. An American citizen, Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, stood on the floor of the Canadian Parliament and said credible allegations against India. Here, an American citizen is out in public and on social media issuing threats to Canadian citizens, asking them to leave Canada. Is this Canadian administration going to take any action against? Are they going to issue a demarche to the American consulate, ask them to apprehend this American citizen? If he's on Canadian soil, will they take action against him? Because this is credible proof. It's out there in public domain. So as a Canadian administration, will they have a unanimous position on or an equitable position? Or should they
Well,
not have it?
that's a difficult question. That's again an intergovernmental matter between Canada and USA. Now,
I'm asking you as a
how
Canadian
we
citizen, don't you expect your Canadian government to protect you and protect the interests of anybody who's threatening Canadian citizens?
absolutely, you are absolutely right. We have in fact requested our public safety minister to provide protection to all Canadians. This is an unacceptable situation. We have lived all our life in Canada. Our sons and daughters are serving the armed forces in Canada. We have given all our life to Canada in all spheres of life, be it business, academia, or whatever. How can it be that all of a sudden that somebody can ask us to leave? And this is across the generations. There are several generations of Indo-Canadians over here. So we have raised this concern. We have flagged it with our public safety minister. We expect him to provide protection. This has been an ongoing concern over the years, right from farmers' protest time to until now. And we believe that our minister would definitely take action, and the community is raising this voice because
Should such
people
elements,
are
sir, who are
living in fear.
non-Canadians, should such
So,
elements who are non-Canadians be welcome on Canadian soil, or should they be asked to leave the country immediately if not arrested? Should
well,
somebody?
you see, Canada is a country. There's a rule of law.
Hmm,
Okay, nobody can ask somebody to leave just like that. It's not a joke.
hmm.
And even for a non-Canadian, if they are on a legally valid visa, if they're authorized to come to Canada, they have every right to be there for that particular duration. The law of the land would prevail.
But
I
the
think we
but the
need to
law of the land
differentiate.
allows them on a legal visa to threaten Canadian citizens and ask them to leave the
Not
country.
No, no, absolutely not. And those are the kind of issues that are raised often. These are our internal discussions that go on between politicians and the community, and those kind of threatening postures are not allowed. Absolutely. But having said that, the current situation, we are all concerned because we never ever imagined that this could come to this point. We can understand intergovernmental matters between Canada and India, but we can't understand that how Canadians would undermine the sovereignty of their own country. This is a very challenging situation for us. which is unacceptable, and we would do everything to set the situation right.